Paul did not take it. The man suddenly realized that his body was slowly shrinking, because he noticed his wedding ring somehow fell to the floor. Even his original 6-foot height had turned into 5 feet just like his wife. At first, Paul did not take it seriously, but as time went on, he kept getting smaller and smaller. In the end, he even shrank down to the size of a mosquito, and the spiders and insects in the house all turned into terrifying monsters. After Paul noticed his body was shrinking, he also went to the local hospital for a checkup, but all of his test results came back completely normal. There was nothing unusual in his bones or blood, since the shrinking kept getting worse, and the hospital treatment did not help at all. Facing massive medical bills, Paul had no choice but to go home to rest. Before long, Paul had become about the same size as a cat. For her husband's safety, his wife had no choice but to throw the cat outside. She even told others that her husband had already died, planning to sell their house. This instantly made Paul extremely angry, because he felt his wife no longer saw him as a normal person, but as a seriously ill burden dragging the family down. However, as the days went by, Paul's body continued to shrink, and he could only live inside his daughter's toy house. At first, Paul thought it was pretty fun, because he did not have to work and could stay home with his daughter. But soon he could not smile anymore, because his wife did not dare let him sleep on the bed, afraid that one turn at night might crush him to death. But the more this happened, the more Paul wanted to climb onto the bed. So the next day he tied a fishhook to a rope. He thought he could climb up using the rope that way, but he did not expect that at this moment. A sudden cat's meow came from outside the door. It turned out the cat his wife threw out had come back. This instantly made Paul break out in a cold sweat, because in his eyes, the cat had become a massive giant. He tried to stand up and run, but accidentally got cut by the fishhook. Even worse, the cat struck a hunting pose toward him. To stay alive, Paul quickly grabbed a sewing needle to defend himself, then turned around and ran for his life. But his speed was no match for the cat. Very soon, the cat caught up from behind. In the chaos, he accidentally fell into the basement. When he heard his wife calling his name from upstairs, Paul desperately shouted his wife's name to get her attention. But because his body had shrunk, his voice had become as small as a mosquito. His wife could not hear any of his sounds at all. When she saw the cat that had been thrown out come back, his wife instantly realized something was very wrong. Late at night when everything was quiet, Paul found a piece of torn cloth and covered himself with it, barely managing to survive the night in the basement. Early the next morning, Paul was woken up by his daughter calling out. This instantly gave Paul hope. To catch his daughter's attention, he quickly found half a piece of chalk, and wrote his name at the basement door. After that, his stomach started growling loudly, so he searched the basement for something to eat, and finally found a mousetrap his wife had placed in the corner. With a big chunk of cheese on it, he forcefully threw the sewing needle aside, and began to enjoy the food in big bites, without realizing that at this moment, a huge shadow had already appeared behind him. Realizing the basement was full of spiders, Paul had no choice but to find a safer shelter. When he spotted a cardboard box nearby, he first soaked the box with water, then punched a hole in it, and finally blocked the opening with something. Only then did he sleep safely through the night. But as several days passed, there was no more movement from his wife and daughter upstairs. Clearly, they had accepted the fact that he was dead. After that, Paul pried open a wine cork, and drank every day in the basement to drown his sorrow. Even more terrifying was that his body was still shrinking. Realizing he would soon be even smaller than a spider, Paul picked up the sewing needle and prepared to get rid of the spider. But right at that moment, something dramatic suddenly happened. The man